we utilize a transactional scoring approach where a single score is given to every transaction based on its severity, number of attributes. So the attributes are based on 38 reports that we consider to be problem or concern reports, such as round dollar journal entries that might just be a debit or credit, or ones that might have been posted, let's say, after hours. Then we summarize that type of transactional score by enterer, company, and account type. We will use this approach. We're first going to do the normal account flux analysis this year to last year. We're then going to take a look at top transactions, just journal entries or transactions themselves that are very large value, volume, or just at a high score. Then we're going to summarize that score by transaction and then by journal entry. And in these last two, we're going to do this in a very graphical way where literally hundreds of these graphs are created and you can view them very quickly. By selecting a few options within ACL, we can get a variety of reports completed automatically. Here we've identified about 38 reports that go into a scoring mechanism that we're using, and it looks at certain transactions and journal entries, such as journal entries that don't net to zero, journal entries that may be round multiples or posted at odd hours of the night. We utilize these scores by summarizing them, in this case, in a 3-month pattern. You can see that there are green, red, and blue showing up in these graphs. And to the right, we have transactions that are under $1 million. And to the left, we have transactions that are over $1 million. And we've broken them out into two different categories. When you scroll into and look at some of these graphs just a little bit closer, we notice that we are summarizing risk, which is the risk score that we came up with, the income effect, which is basically the income statement effect, the absolute amount of the transactions, and then the net amount of those transactions. And what is very interesting as you look a little bit closer at the data is how relatively close they are per month, and this is over a 3-month period. Especially when you look at the transactions that are under $1 million, you can see the relative trends. So these values, or what we care about, are now summarized by account type, such as asset, liability, etc., enterer, who put the journal entry into the system, and then the company codes. And if you do find a spike within a particular month, in this case we're going to select that one there, it will actually bring you right to that pivot table. You can see that that was the expense within 2011 November, and then I can go to 2011 November and double click on that expense, and that will actually go into the pivot table data and bring back to us an extraction of just that segment. So just going back to the index, at a very high level you can see that things are very relative, especially for lower dollar transactions, but when you do see a spike, you can quickly drill down into that spike and then learn more about that transaction. In addition to the summaries to date, we also can summarize the risk score by journal entry itself and take a look at those journal entry numbers that are the most top scored. In this case, we've stratified the risk score based on income effect, transactions, and net amount. Let's just take a look at one of these just to explain what we've done. In essence, we've identified, of the journal entries, how many of them had an income statement where the risk score was 0 or up to 10% or 10 to 25, etc. And by stratifying it this way and looking at the trending over time, we can also try to understand where those certain strange breaks might be in the quarterly analysis. We can also scatter graph the information. and do that in a quarterly way. And what we've done here is we're taking a look at the risk score of that journal entry. This is every individual journal entry, and then the relative impact from a net amount point of view on the trial balance. So you can kind of see the net amount here. And this is first quarter, second quarter, third, and fourth quarter. And what is also quite interesting is to take a look at the 4-quarter analysis as well. And in our case, we're doing fourth quarter review. We can actually select some of the ones that are outliers from a fourth quarter perspective in relation to all of the other quarters. Last but not least, we just make sure that we've taken a look at all of the top items, which might be from a valued point of view or an income statement point of view, or even just a ratio point of view, and we do provide that analysis as well. In summary, the reports are completed within just a few hours of loading the data, and once done, a transactional score is produced, which combines basically the power of 38 reports that look for interesting and strange events within journal entries. And what you'll notice is that that one viewpoint, the account analysis, is not the same as having over 200 viewpoints with all of the graphing. And even more so, it's just so easy to use, but yet it's powerful in approach.